Good morning, everybody. This morning we're going to talk a little bit about racing, what I got going on with that, and then we're going to go back and finish the discussion we're going to talk about on the truck. These two bikes up here are my son's. One's his primary bike, the other one's a backup bike in case anything happens to the primary. Same thing, these two are mine. This is my main race bike, we call it Jaeger, and then this is my backup bike, we call it Nemesis. This year the plan was, the series I raced for, the NEEGT, came out and said that they were going to start a 265 two-stroke class. So I didn't really give it a whole lot of thought until some of my buddies started talking about it. One buddy in particular I know has a 265 race bike, a TRX 250R, and he got hurt a few years ago, and there was a rumor that he might come back and ride that class a little bit. So right away, the first thing I thought of is, man, I'd love to build a bike and get on the track one more time with him. We had a lot of fun together, along with some of the other guys that were talking about racing in that class. We all race really well together. We all have a lot of fun. So then I came up with the bright idea. I didn't want a fifth race bike, so I came up with the bright idea, why not put a 265 two-stroke motor in my backup bike? Kill two birds with one stone. I still have a backup bike in case something goes wrong with that bike, but at the same time I can run the 265 class. I love this bike. It handles great. It rides great. And I thought, man, that'd be the best of both worlds. So I put the word out, and lo and behold, the guy messaged me and said, hey, I'm doing the same thing, only backwards what you're doing. He's put a 450 motor in a two-stroke frame, or a 250R frame. And he's like, I got everything you need. I'm like, how much? And we had a conversation, and he was going to take pictures, and then he just disappeared. I was like, well, shit, that kind of sucks. So then I started thinking, well, hey, boys, I started thinking, well, if I bought a full bike, then I'd have everything that I need. And then if I ever wanted to build an R, I can go back and build an R. So I got talking with a guy out of North Carolina. Bike's a little pricey, so a little bit more than I wanted to spend, and I just, I don't know. So he's supposed to hit me back this morning, let me know if it's a 265 or under motor, and we'll decide if we're gonna buy another bike or what. But we have vacation coming up, and you know, all the other stuff that you spend money on. So we'll have to see how that develops, whether we actually buy another bike or whether somebody comes through with a motor and a pipe and all that. But this is the bike that we're going to do that to. I'm really hoping that it goes well. I'd rather spend, you know, $1,500, $1,800 on just a motor than $3 grand on a whole bike, you know. And then I've got another bike sitting around, which we really don't need another bike sitting around, but you know, we'll have to see how it goes. The other thing we're going to talk about this morning is that truck. Take you out in the big shop. So here we go. So there's a hot rod truck. It's a 78 Chevy Stepside. Like I said, I bought it years and years and years ago out of Tennessee. I actually sold that truck to my dad, and when he passed away, I bought it back. So we now have a small LS motor in it with a turbo. I have to set you guys up here for a minute. So we have a small LS motor in it with a turbo, you know, somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 horse or so. But we're building a truck just to have fun and something that I can drive back and forth to work. It's not done yet, obviously, but we are doing some stuff. I bought a 3.5 suspension drop from Suspension Specialties, like I said the other day. It is on now. It's not complete. I still have the drive shaft and some other stuff. Don't mind the mess in the shop. As soon as I got done yesterday, we went to dinner right away, and that was the end of that. So I'll show you a few things that we ran into when we did this. Bear with me a minute. We'll put this thing up in the air and see how it goes. One of the problems we had, the front end was perfect. Springs went in, shocks went in, everything's good. I got nice travel in the shocks and everything's smooth there. But as you can see, the rear end only dropped a half inch maybe. So the shocks in the back aren't long enough. So we got the spring relocation brackets on. We've got the flip kits on. Let me grab my light here. You can see we got the flip kits on. The flip kits were a little short, so we put a little bit of weld on top of them. And the reason was when I got everything on, this was rocking a little bit. So we just put a little bit of height on it to keep it from rocking. And then we got everything together, put the shock extensors on there. The reason they do that is because the bolt for the shock is right by the clip, or right by the spring mount. So I don't know if you can see or not, but I actually had to notch the bracket out for that. So that's why they move everything down so you can get to it. But the problem is now the shock's not long enough. So I don't know if I'm gonna try and put the factory shocks back on or what I'm gonna do, but today we're gonna do that. We're gonna see that the drive shaft isn't too long. With all this up in the air now, we're gonna fit the drive shaft, make sure we're good there, and decide what to do with the shocks and put everything else back together, and then we should be ready for the road. But there you go, there's the next little project. We're gonna put bucket seats in it. I got a set of race seats we're gonna put in it. Probably some 5-point harnesses. I bought a factory style console for it. So we'll do a little bit of interior work. We're gonna do a little bit more suspension work. I do want to put a 12-volt posi in this thing. It's got a 12-volt in it now. I just have to buy the posi unit from Jez to put in it. They make a real nice unit for like $580. We're going to put that in, and then a set of Hoosiers, and then we'll see what this thing will do down the road. Should be a lot of fun. But that's what we're doing now. And again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and like and follow. Thanks, guys.